I'm
that
in a
the,
hyperbaric chamber. Look, man, life is good, brother. Life is good. Got a little shiner.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you fight, dude.
Yeah. Well, you can't replicate bare knuckle. So it's a little different. The sparring is a little different than the fight, but we still got to do what we can.
Yeah, I mean so the bare knuckle thing. One, it's insane that you guys do that. Uh, but two, I mean, what was it that made you do that, dude? Like, I honestly, like, when I'm looking at I don't know you as far as like your whole life story, but I do know that you're not a young buck. You
Yeah.
own a business, you have a family.
Yeah. Sound
You
like
were,
my wife.
hey, I'm probably saying that because I know what my wife would think if that were me.
Yeah.
And like, what was it that like said, I'm going to take this on? I'm going to do this bare knuckle thing that's not really popular. It's not popular yet. It's getting there.
Yeah.
And you took that on, dude. And like, and how old are you? 40?
I'll be 42 the week after my fight. So
Right. Like, that's crazy, dude. But what made you do that? I mean, I'm somebody that doesn't, I believe age is kind of a number, but I mean, it's inevitable as you get older. Your body is also getting older. But at the end of the day, like, what was it that said, dude, I'm taking this on. I'm doing this.
so exactly what happened was I fought in the PFL and I tore my ACL, right? Um when I tore my ACL, it was the ACL, the MCL, and the meniscus. And I had to I had to do pre-surgical rehab on my MCL just to get the ACL fixed because my knee wasn't bending. So I had months of that. And then I got the ACL surgery and months of PT for that. And I was kind of in a point where it was like I needed to fight. I wanted to fight. And I couldn't do MMA because my knee just wasn't ready. And I actually know Dave Feldman, who's the president of Bare Knuckle. He was the co-promoter for Art of War. So, and I actually had fought for his brother Damon a long time ago. And he had mentioned it to me before. Hey man, whenever you're ready to come over to Bare Knuckle, let me know. I'll get you a fight. And it was kind of just one of those things. I was like, no, no, not for me, not for me, because I had my MMA journey that I was on, and man, that kind of changed a little bit with the knee injury. So yeah, I took the fight. Mohegan Sun fought an experienced Lewis Rumsey, who I believe had already had 5 fights bare knuckle at the time. So here goes me, no fights, him with 5, and I beat the brakes off of him. So I was hooked from there, brother.
I, I mean, bare knuckles, one of them things. Like, I went to the one Lex had at the 2300 was the first one I
Yeah,
seen live. He fought Rumsey actually
yeah,
uh, that night. And I mean, dude, the fight before his, when you say that, you fought an experienced fighter compared, and then you never done it yet. I think that means so much in bare knuckle, dude. Because when you watch those fights, it looks like you're in space, dude. That's what it looks like. It looks like you're in like
I'm
a.
listening. I'm listening.
It,
Sorry,
it
I'm
looks
just trying to get
no,
him
no. You're
talking,
you're,
man.
you're good, dude. I said
Yeah,
it looks like you're in like a space station, dude.
yeah. There we go.
So
Sorry.
that's the hyperbaric chamber,
Yeah.
and you just got that.
So someone gave it to me actually. Um, a guy who lives around the corner from me who has a wellness therapy place, Revive.
I know I've heard of it.
Yeah,
Is it Revital?
Revital.
I've heard
Revitalize,
of one called
revitalize.
Revital. Okay.
Yeah. And he had one for his house and he's like, dude, come get it. It's yours. So it was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I mean that's
Um,
sick to own one.
yeah, I think it's got a little bit of an air leak, but I think it could just be patched.
Yeah, I mean you'll figure it out. It's the first time you're using it.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that is awesome. I seen you post about it today. I was gonna actually ask you
Yeah,
about it. I didn't know
dude.
you were gonna be in one.
Apparently they're like legit, and I was looking up like how much this thing would cost, and it's like $10,000.
That's what I was. Dude, they're expensive. They're not cheap.
Yeah,
They're
and
not cheap.
the like the studies have shown that like they're super effective at what they do.
Yeah, no, I hear about them a lot, dude. It's just it's not in my
Yeah,
budget right now. Right now, hopefully one day.
I don't think it's in a lot of people's budgets, man. But
No, it's hey, when you
yeah,
know people, you know
I got
people.
lucky. I got lucky. So
But so go back to the whole experienced fighter when you have no experience. When you watch those fights, dude, you see once somebody gets hit, a lot of sometimes that's it. Like you know that they get in that ring and that bare knuckle, dude, and you hear it, and you
yeah,
watch the way they react to that first punch that they took. You can almost see that they were like, "Oh, this was a mistake," right from the beginning, and that fight's over. And then you get like, then you'll have two guys that can really go at it. But bare knuckle, I really do feel like it's one of them things where you aren't really going to know if it's for you until you get in that ring and take a punch. I mean, would you agree with what you've seen? You've been there multiple times and seen all these people. Like, I feel like an experienced fighter might go there and it might not be for them once they take that knuckle to the face.
yeah. I mean, it's obviously a lot different than being hit with anything else. Like I've been hit on multiple occasions with MMA gloves, and same thing with boxing gloves. Um, I've been fortunate enough to not get hit in bare knuckle through two fights so far, so I'm unscathed. Which is good and bad. Bad being as I don't know what it's like to get hit bare knuckle. Good in the sense I'm 2-0 untouched. Um, my take on it is that you're when you get hit with a bare knuckle, your brain instinctually tells you like, don't do
Run,
that. Don't
run.
do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like that sucks. Um, and that holds true for a lot of people with like boxing gloves too, like getting hit or any type of pain. Most people, when encountering pain, their brain says like, "Don't do that." As a kid, man, like my childhood was full of trauma, so I have a full on tolerance for pain. Right, like my threshold is I like to consider like no one else's. It's so um th- that off button, that don't do that switch in most people's heads. I feel like I don't have. Um, Anybody who's ever sparred with me will tell you that like after I get hit, that's when I get going. So um I wanted a hard fight here. I wanted a tough fight, and I asked for this opponent because I saw he has power in his hands, and that he's 2-0, and that he's not going to be scared, right? Like he's going to show up because unfortunately a lot of times like these fights fall off, and he doesn't have a lot of canceled fights, and I saw a worthy opponent in Bear Hill, and it's gonna be a fun night, man.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. I have a bunch of people coming too that are trying to get. They're not involved in there, but I mean, I say this all the time. I'm probably repeating myself a million times. Some people are tired of probably hearing it, but when I go to Philly, dude, and I'm in the Forge, it's the best place in the world, in my opinion. The culture there is just like no other. Uh, and I'm trying to get a lot of the guys because I grew up in Parkwood. That's where I grew up. So
Nice.
I think it's so good for the community. And if I had that when I was a kid and found that when I was younger, man, my life might have been completely different. It could have kept me out of a lot of trouble. So I love what they're doing for the community as well as everything else. Um, but that fight that you're taking, you both are 2-0. So both correct. I'm not
Yep.
wrong there, right? We're both 2-0.
Yeah, we're both 2-0. Yeah.
So I mean, it really should be a good one. But you're right when you say that you've never been hit, dude. You're actually your second fight was against who Lex is fighting, correct? Again,
Yeah, Lex
and
has two of my children.
yeah, he's following in your footsteps, dude.
Lex is great, man. Lex is a really good dude, and
I
and
love I
yeah,
I hate him, dude. Fuck, I hate that dude.
Yeah, the most hated man in sports. He's a great dude. And
That's what I tell
listen,
him. Like, dude, how come nobody's sitting there saying they hate you, dude? I
yeah,
don't hear anybody hating you.
I love him.
I'm trying to start the trend, but it's not. No one's picking up on it.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, he's got two tough fights in front of him. I believe the one with Calmus is at 205, right?
yeah,
Calmus is probably a little light in the ass, and probably is more likely a light heavyweight. Uh, but Calmus is tough, man. Calmus is really tough.
bro.
He,
You took him out quick. You were right on him, but he
yeah,
still stayed on his feet.
yeah, exactly. Like that. Exactly. Like you got to
That's
shoot
where
that dude.
I watched. I
Yeah,
was like, holy shit! How do you like, dude? I would have been
yeah.
dead.
Even he fought again after he fought me. I believe Corey Willis, who I was supposed to fight, actually again beat him up bad, but like he was on his feet, you know.
Yeah,
Um, just one of those guys that you got to shoot him to get him down and have him stay down. But yeah, look, I'm excited for Lex. I'm excited for Forge. I'm excited for the area, right? For Philadelphia to host another big event like this.
yeah.
Um, yeah, man. To touch on what you were saying about the Forge and the culture and the camaraderie and like the hanging with the guys, man. There really is nothing like it, right? You can't really find anything like that anywhere else other than in a combat sports gym. There's nothing like it, right? Um,
Nothing.
yeah, there's something to be said about like when you're competing against someone like that. It's one on one, and there's no bad blood, right? Like like I don't have any bad feelings for you. We're just competing against one another, and then like you're sitting on the mat and you're bullshitting afterwards. There's something to be said on that. You know what I mean? Like there's some type of it's an ingredient to something that's more
It's like
special. Yeah, it's more special. Like
there's something with the psychology that
yeah,
makes that. It's almost like that's what's supposed to be happening. Because I mean,
yeah,
in a way, dude, like you guys are training for war together,
yeah,
and if you're giving it your all when you're sparring, like for me, so just a little, I know you don't know me, but I was not, I trained a little jujitsu for about a year and a half prior to coming to Philly. I worked with CJ Orr. He was working with me. So I was out there training him for the whole month when the Forge opened. So I was like, all right, I'm coming, sign up for the whole month. And I got addicted like immediately. But when you said like there's guys that have that, don't do this when you get punched. Well, we weren't even sparring, dude. When I put the gloves on for the first time, I walked in. I thought we were doing jujitsu, but Chris was like, "Nah, dude." He threw me shin pads and mitts, and I'm like, "Ah, shit." So I'm nervous as hell. I wasn't expecting it, but then we were just doing mitt work with. I was working with Chase. I don't know if you know Chase, but a young guy, and he's trying to become a professional fighter, and that's what I
yeah,
was doing mitt work with. Never did it before in my life, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Whatever, dude. I'm sitting there. I thought he was supposed to try to hit my mitts. Bang, right in the note, dude. I was so angry. But in my mind, I'm like, I can't even do anything. I'd wanted to
yeah,
react like an attack, but I couldn't because he's gonna kill me. So
yeah.
I was like, what do I do in this, But that's what
It's
happened, dude. I got
humbling.
punched, wasn't ready.
It's
The most
humbling,
that was
right?
one of the most eye-opening things for me because it's not like I never walked around like I was like tough at this point in my life. Like I understood that there's trained people out there and whatever, but I never thought that I'd not be able to control my emotions if I was hit. I thought that I would be able to control my emotions in that situation, and I learned that I couldn't.
Yeah,
That's what it really taught me is I need to start doing this because this situation could come up wherever. And
yeah,
what if I'm with my family? I can't react with this emotion like that, or who am I protecting?
yeah.
You know?
Uh, it's enlightening, right? I did consider myself tough before I started training. Like I really did. Like I had been in dozens of bar fights. Like I considered myself a tough person. Like
How
I
old
would
were you, by the way, when you got into it?
uh I was older, man. I was 36 for my amateur debut.
Really?
34. 34. I made my
Really?
amateur debut at 34. I think I turned pro at 39, 38, 39.
When you got into it at that age, did you like have the did you have a vision of becoming professional or going?
No, no. At the time, it was really so. I did a boxing match for recovery, so I'm in recovery, right? I'm sober,
Hey, here,
and
brother, 8 years.
yeah, February 1st, 2016, brother. I'm coming up on 10. So
Congratulations, brother.
yeah, so we did a boxing match for recovery to raise awareness and raise some funds to help guys get into some sober houses. And there was somebody at that event who did MMA. I was there for boxing, and he had pretty much said like, "Oh, MMA guys are tougher." So I said, "All right, well, I want to try that." And 8 weeks later, I was in a cage, having had no experience, no jujitsu, nothing. Right, and I lost my amateur debut. Uh, just I didn't know anything, but I was hooked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was humbled in the moment, uh, in front of hundreds of people. Right? I think. Sorry, 1 second. My wife is texting me.
now you're good. Did you said something to me? You said
No,
something to
no,
me
we're
where you're
good. No,
good.
we're good. She just texted me and said, "I'm. Are you okay?" In there, I'm nervous.
Well, she doesn't even. It's the first
Yeah,
time you're using it, dude. She needs you.
yeah. So
But
I didn't. I was humbled in that moment. You know, what I mean? I didn't know what to do. I couldn't get up. He was a wrestler. He took me down, but I was also hooked, right? Because I realized that like I wasn't tough at all. Like I just wasn't, and I thought I was. And I I I found out quickly that like what you think you are and what you are two different things. And the only way to really find out who you are is through action. And that goes to like everything. It's like you can't call yourself a hard worker and not work hard. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, I'm a hard worker if I had to be. But then you're not. Like you don't work that hard. That makes you a not a hard worker. You know what I mean? It's like so you can't say that like you're a tough guy if you had to be, because that makes you not tough, right? Like you're a tough guy in practice, right? Like you have to be practicing being a tough guy. And I'm just saying the words tough guy in the sense of being capable of defending yourself or your family or anything like that, because that's the reality of like of the usefulness of combat sports. It's like the only real useful uh the only really thing that you're getting out of it is the ability to keep yourself, your family, and the people around you safe in case you had to. And then there's no guarantees that you really do, but at least you know that you're giving it your best effort, whatever that looks like. Um, for me, I did it just because out of ego, right? Like someone said that MMA guys are tougher. I was like, all right, I want to find out. And and to answer your question about becoming pro, no, I never really saw myself as being pro. It was really just like, okay, I lost my first fight. I got to win a fight, right? So then I fought and I won. And then there was like an amateur heavyweight champion. I was like, oh, I want to try to win that, right? So two more fights, I won that. And then COVID hit, and uh, I won when COVID hit, and I was just getting the itch to fight. That's when I went over and I started training with Chris and Kyle. And after COVID lifted and we were allowed to fight again, I fought one more, or I fought twice more as an amateur, and I went pro. What happened was there was a guy who I really wanted to fight, and he wouldn't fight me in Pennsylvania. He said he would only fight me down in Maryland. So I went down to Maryland where it was pro rule. It was an amateur fight, but pro rule. And I knocked him out in the second round. And at that point, I was like, okay, well, I just fought pro rules. That means I can go pro. And Chris Dawkins was like, all right, we're going pro. And, I didn't lose a fight. I won 5 straight fights. and I got signed by the PFL. And the only fight I've ever lost as a pro was as a result of an injury that I mentioned earlier with the knee. So for me, it's I never really had a plan. It was always just one fight at a time. And then after doing one fight at a time, I realized that like, oh, I can probably do something really cool with this. And yeah, I fought for the PFL, and
That is awesome, dude. And I think
yeah,
the reason I asked about the pro thing is because that's older to get into just to get
oh,
into it, like
oh yeah,
because my mindset, me and CJ were always talking about it, and CJ actually told me that CJ keeps bringing him up
oh,
like
I know
okay.
TJ well, yeah,
I thought you did. But
yeah, yeah. He chaired a couple meetings I spoke at before.
dude, he's the man. But me and him we talk I talked to him a lot about like that stuff, and he's planning on taking a fight
I know,
fine for the first time.
yeah.
And I'm like, dang, I'm pretty jealous, but I'm in this situation. But it's an
Just
excuse,
that,
right?
just listen, just
It's
do
all
it, just do it.
excuses. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
I said
It's
the same
all
thing to
excuses
him.
in my head. I'm like, I got mouths to feed. I got wife,
Nah,
kids. You don't, but I'm at the same time, I'm also like, I need to
how
do
old
it.
are you
Like,
now?
I
How old
want to
are
do
you?
it. 34.
All right, then do it.
Yeah. So, and
Now,
that's what I
here's the
was
thing. Here's the thing. There will be a time in your life where you won't be able to.
exactly.
But now's not that time.
That's right.
But that time will come, right? Like there will be a day when it's like, all right, I can't make my amateur debut at 42. It's like, well, maybe you can, right? But 45 you can't. 50 you can't, right? But 34 you can.
No, I love that, dude. And
And when you do hit that age where you can, you're gonna think back at the moment when you can, and you're gonna have that big R, right?
that's
And nobody wants the
exactly.
big R. And that big R is kind of like what's kind of like fueled a lot of my one more fight. And it's been the topic of many of conversations with my wife where, she's not on board with what I do at all. Not one bit, like 0%. And I just hold on to, and I'm like, look, I have to do it because there will be a day when I can't, and I'll regret not doing it. And we had the conversation. You've already fought at Wells Fargo. Why do you got to fight there again? Like, what is it? And I'm like, well, because I can, and if I can, I should. So, my advice to you is do it. Like, look, you're not going to die. You know what I mean? Could you get hurt?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you could get hurt. Yeah, you could break an arm. But like, I don't know. You could also get hit by a bus tomorrow crossing the street,
Thank you. Yep.
right? So, like, look, you can give yourself 1,000 reasons why you should. You can give yourself 1,000 reasons why you shouldn't. But
It's a feeling.
at the end of the day, if your gut is saying that do it, you should just do it. And I had this conversation with CJ too. He was like, I want to do a little more training for this, and I'm like, dude, stop.
He's been training for a long time. I
Yeah,
just start. I
I'm like,
just started, and I'm like,
dude,
and
I
that's where
got
my
in.
mind goes. But I
Listen,
can compare myself to everybody and anybody. It doesn't matter. It's like same thing with me getting sober. It's the same thing.
yeah,
Before I got sober, there was always these people that were worse than me, so I'm not bad. Like it's kind of the
oh
same
yeah,
situation. It is life, and I love how you reference that when you give this because that's one thing that I love about the. That's the one thing I love when I started to go to the Forge was the mindset of the fighter, dude. Like it is not just the mindset, the lifestyle is like if you live that lifestyle in anything that you do, you will be successful in that area of life. And I sell insurance for a living. I use the model of MMA and fighters to my business because it works. Like you guys are all like you get into insurance and they teach or you learn things and you're trying to figure out, how to sell, for example, but nobody's practicing. Nobody's like role playing, and I'm like, why aren't we doing this? This is all we should be doing. Let's role
yeah,
play. And like you go to Wells Fargo, you're going to be in the back, just hitting mitts and warming up before you even just walk out there. And
yeah.
for months prior, you were fighting somebody else to get ready for it. You
Mhm.
weren't watching videos. right? You were doing the thing that you need
Yeah,
to do in order to learn how
yeah.
to do it. But for me, the fight thing, dude's always been on my mind. That I was always afraid to walk into a gym. Then I finally did it with the Forge, and uh, I don't know. It was. I just had
8 weeks.
this thing.
Eight
I just
weeks.
wanted it.
8 weeks. When I called the promoter, I called him the next day after that boxing match. Mike Bicken, he'll tell you. I called him and I said, "Hey, look, I want to do an MMA match. I got your number from the fuck was his name? Whatever." And he gave me your number and he said that you're a promoter that does MMA. I want to fight MMA. And he said, "How much jiu-jitsu experience do you have?" And I kid you not, I'm not lying. I said, "What's jiu-jitsu?" I had no idea. I was thinking it was like karate or something. Like I'm thinking like, all right, so like karate, like taekwondo, but there's
You mean to
jujitsu.
break boards?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like all right, I have a yellow belt. And he was like, I don't know. And I straight up said to him, like, what's jujitsu? And he's like, oh, like I can't put you in a cage. Like he's like, you don't have any experience with jujitsu. He's like, dude, you gotta get some jujitsu. Like learn some jujitsu and then call me back. And I sent him a picture of me. Now at the time, I was shredded, right? Like I'm in shape now, but I was ripped to the gills, right? 2 years sober, I'm big. And he saw the picture and he calls me back. And he's like, hey, I have something that's going on. This was in August 2016. He said, I got something going on in October. If you can get a jujitsu coach to sign off on your fight, I'll put you in there. I'm like, say no more. So I Googled jujitsu near me. I found Quintella MMA, Alex Quintella in Ridley Park on McKay Boulevard. And I went in there and I said, look, this guy wants to put me in a fight, but I need a jujitsu coach to sign off on it. And he said, if you're here every night leading up to your fight, 5 nights a week, I'll let you fight. I was there every night, man, 5 nights a week. And I was going through a divorce at the time, so I had the time. And,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah. And I
It
got in the
probably helped
cage.
with that too.
Yeah, I got in the cage with 8 weeks of jujitsu. So if you're asking me how long you should wait before you take a fight, I'm gonna
Just
tell you don't.
yeah, just do it.
Don't wait. Just do it.
Let me
What's the
ask you
word?
this, that dude. What? So you didn't know jujitsu? What'd you say? What's my weight?
No, I'm saying
That's
there's no
what
reason
keeps
to
me
wait.
out,
What are you
dude. I need
waiting
to
for?
lose it. What am I waiting for, dude? I
Yeah.
want to lose weight,
You just said
honestly.
you want to lose weight, but then just fight at your weight that you weigh right now.
Right, dude. I'd be almost I'd be a heavyweight.
Okay, then fight at heavyweight.
Yeah. See, dude, another
No,
excuse.
Kyle was an
There's
amateur
another
heavyweight.
excuse, dude. What?
Kyle was an amateur heavyweight. Did you know that?
Really? Was
Yeah,
he?
he used to be fat.
Well, they
Yeah,
both the
look up
Dawkins
Kyle.
brothers are,
Look
weren't
up,
they?
yeah, look up Kyle's amateur
I'm gonna
career.
have to, dude.
Yeah, some of it was at heavyweight.
Good for him, dude.
Yeah, so dude, what are you waiting for? Kyle,
And
I don't even think Kyle was a 500 amateur fighter.
I'm just making excuses over here, dude. That's what I'm
Oh, of
doing.
course, yeah, that's what it is, and that's fine. Because look, we did the same thing about getting sober too. It's like, I'm not
Eggs,
there. You know what I mean, it's like,
egg.
it's not that bad. And the reality of it is like we had to hit rock bottom. Now, I'm not making a comparison saying that you have to hit rock bottom before you do
Right,
MMA,
right, right.
but like eventually you're gonna find yourself in a place where people like me are just telling you there's nothing to fear. It's like because that's what that is. It's like I need to lose weight because I'm scared,
Right. 100%.
right? Yeah,
I agree with you
yeah.
100%.
Since
That's
you're
in
scared,
everything, dude.
oh yeah, fear. Yeah,
The
fear
fear to
rules.
start.
Yeah,
I said this when my old man, I lost my parents within 2 years of each other. They were
yeah.
both
Sorry to
59
hear
years
that.
old. Thank you. But I remember the anticipation of the death was worse than the actual like death because of just the anticipation of it is
Yeah,
like it kills you, dude. It's
yeah.
it again, I think it's just
Fear of
because
losing something you have.
and you don't even know where it goes. Like the fear of
Yeah,
the unknown. So you just
yeah,
don't know how it's going to feel to lose a parent. And then when it happens, it's just like
yeah.
everything else. Just like when you win, you want this thing, you get it, and that feeling's like
It's a fleeting moment. Yeah,
exactly same thing.
yeah.
But you mentioned that you didn't know what jujitsu was, you had to do it. when you walked into that gym and he said you had to come here for 5 days a week, what was your opinion of it the first day that you went and had to actually do it?
Well, I I realized how little I knew, right? Like because somebody half your size grabs you and manipulates your body in a manner of which that you didn't know you could be manipulated by someone half your size. You just it's a humbling experience, and you realize that like you're worthless, you know. And for me, like I was like, oh my god, like teach me, like what did you just do? Show me. And it that's how I got to where I am, man. It was just like one show me moment after another. Like even training with Chris Dawkins, it was like I started training with Chris because I wanted to learn from the best heavyweight in the area. I straight up DM'd him and was like, yo, dude, you're the best. You're 2-0 in UFC. Can I train with you? There you go. Made it happen. And he said yes. And that's how I trained with, I sparred with Sean Strickland, Francis Ngannou, right? Like, I, I just showed up at the gym. I showed up at the gym. I'm here to train. And next thing you know, I'm standing in a ring with Strickland. Look,
How was
man,
that, dude? I didn't know
what was
that.
that?
I
Yeah,
thought you. I knew you had a big. I knew you had somebody big name reach out to you.
John
Was it?
Jones.
Was it John
Yeah,
Jones? That's
yeah,
what I thought, dude. I didn't want to just. I didn't want to throw that out there if it wasn't true,
yeah.
but I did not hear Sean Strickland because he's a nut too, and it's
Yeah, yeah. I was in Vegas with Chris and Kyle for one of Chris's fights, and uh, I knew that they had trained at Extreme Couture, and we had a friend in common that trained there, and I hit him up, and I'm like, dude, I want to spar with Strickland. Like, how do I get that done? And he basically said, come to wrestling practice. Went to wrestling practice one day, and the next day I was sparring with Sean, and I did 3 rounds with Sean, and then after I come out of the cage with Sean, Francis was standing at the bottom of the steps. Like, all right, now two with me. So yeah, it was a pretty pretty wild 5 rounds.
that is. I mean that's awesome, dude. That's awesome. And honestly, dude, what I'm
Yeah,
picking up from you, dude, is crazy good at inspiration. I mean, you're living in the moment, man. You're really like. And maybe it's coming from sobriety of the, one day at a time thing, but like you're literally doing that in all aspects of your life, especially fighting.
yeah. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I I come from a place where like I had nothing, right? Like we grew up really poor, and childhood wasn't easy at the time. I look back at it now, and I'm like, oh, it was easier than I thought it was. Um, at the time, it was hard. Not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. Bouncing around a little bit, and for me, it's like, dude, I did enough shit to myself that nothing big that happens to me is really gonna affect me. Um, so it's like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm gonna get knocked out by Sean Strickland. Okay. Is that the worst
So
case scenario? Okay, all right, it's not that bad then. So
yeah,
yeah, I mean, like, look, man, I know guys that are not good fighters, like that are amateur fighters that like can't win a fight, and they are just good dudes. Like they're in the gym, gloving up, lacing up, like putting their shin pads on, like let's go. And they're like 0-5. Like
yeah.
it's like,
There's something to be said about
and the
that.
dude's got a smile on his face.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about that, dude.
And
I
there's
mean,
something to be said about that for sure, man. It's like it, he doesn't love winning. He loves the process,
thank you.
right? And
I
that, there's a lot in there, man. There's a lot in there. And look, you're in the right place. You're with the right people. It's time to fight, brother.
what do you think outside of fighting, right? Because this is what I find amazing of what you're doing. You have a family, you have kids. I mean, one, you made me feel like a little bit more of a man when I texted you said, "All right, let's keep this to a certain time so my wife doesn't kill me,"
Yeah,
because
of
I'm afraid my wife's going to kill me. But
course.
knowing
They
that
don't
you,
understand.
right, okay, so I feel a little bit better about always worried about that.
Yeah,
Anyway, you have the response and responsibility to me is meaning, right? So to me, if you don't find responsibility and really understand what your responsibility on this work in this on this earth is, you don't have any meaning and you kind of get lost. But you have that, then you own a business, correct? A
Yep.
contracting business.
Yep.
And then you're fighting and you're in your 40s and you don't really your mindset is around not regret and living in the moment uh and and making sure you do not do something or not do something that you're going to regret later. So
Yeah.
like how is it that your mind or your like how did you get into that mindset? Because a lot of people can't find that and they search for that whether whatever it is that they're doing. But how do you wear all those hats and like how do you maintain keeping all of those things in order?
Look, man, I'd be lying to you if I said it what I was uh like it was easy or I was like not phased by it because like it's wearing sometimes, right? Like it's hard, right? Like it's you have to give attention to so many different areas and they all need it, right? But for me, I know from mostly from sobriety that if I don't give myself the attention, then no one else is going, right? Like no one's knocking on my door saying like, "What can I do for you today, Pat?" Like hasn't happened in a long time, right? Not without getting paid. Um, so I know that I have to do for me, and if I don't do for me, then I find myself in darker places. So for me, it's like putting money in the mental bank. It's like I have to do this. I'm sorry, and there is a lot of conflict as a result, right? Like especially with my wife, because like I said, she's not on board at all. But I, she doesn't know me without fighting. Like I was fighting before we met, right? Like she was actually at my first at that fight at the recovery. It was like one of our earlier dates. Um, so for me, it's just like I have to pay this debt. It's like a payment that is for myself. It's for me, and nobody else is going to pay. So while everything else needs my attention, so do I. You know what I mean? Like going to meetings and stuff like that, like being in service, like you have to do that stuff. Um, so for me, it's just like it's just I know it has to be done. I know it has to be done. Now I know my days are limited and everything's inevitable, and I inevitably will not be fighting. Um, and then I'm just gonna have to serve myself in another way. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna have to channel that same energy of doing something for me just in a different way. Right. Like this one, you know, my identity's wrapped up a little bit in it, right? But it's not who I am. It's something that I do.
I love that.
So it's a little more difficult to get away from the identity of this one because that's kind of what people associate you with when they
Hmm.
see you. Hey, when's your next fight? All right, like, and there's going to be a time when the answer to that is like, I don't have anything coming, right? But for the past however many years, it's been, you know, oh, this date, or you know, I'm injured, I'll be back in a couple months. But um, as a man, it's important that you pay yourself, you know,
Yeah,
and
I love that, dude.
yeah, you got to pay yourself, and there are things that people can do for you that help you, right? Like it's necessary to have people around you that can help you in different ways,
Hmm.
but no one can help you better than you can help yourself.
Yeah.
No one.
Well,
So
people help by people. So for me, man, I look at it. The five closest people I keep around me, we're the average of each other,
yeah,
right? So you try to keep good people and make sure everybody's kind of
Of course.
motivated to lift each other up and not pull each other down. Because
Yeah.
growing up, I was surrounded, and I was one of them. I just wanted everybody to stay with me. Be like, stay here.
Uh,
Where are you going?
yeah.
Uh, Now it's not the case. I want more successful people, but so that's one good thing. But they can't do it for you.
Nope.
So the only way you actually can help is if you actually take the advice. They're not. No one can help you. You have to get. You have to move your feet to do. Now,
Yeah.
for you, when you said one, what I loved is it's not who you are; it's just something that you do.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Again, when I talked to Chris on here, that's one thing I asked him because he got there and came back and had to after Derek Lewis went back down. And my big thing was how did you shift your identity at that moment? And his whole thing, his whole story, it was a great. He's got a great story. I think he has a great mindset. Every time I see him, he's great mood, but it scares the death out of some other people. My question to you would be kind of similar. Like, I think in the UFC, the only person that I know that became the only person that I know of is Khabib, who actually walked away and chose his time to leave. Everyone else kind of they're told. How will you know? With that being, everybody says it, and I mean, just like I'm afraid to take a fight, it's got to be all the same difference of not fighting. Like that fear's also got to be there.
Yeah.
So
No.
how will you actually know? Man, this might be it.
Yeah. It's tough. It's not a black and white question. I feel like it's going to need to be a culmination of things. Um, what I'm hoping is that losing isn't one of the major ingredients to that, right? Because I don't know. I don't know that I'm going to be able to stop if like I keep winning. You know what I mean? I tell myself that I feel like this ends with me on my back stepping the board. You know what I mean? Um,
I get
so
it, dude. And I don't know if you'll know I don't think anybody really knows the answer to that until it
yeah,
happens. But
I don't know the answer. My wife would love to have the answer herself. I just look, it's on my mind, right? It's I've talked to my friends about it, right? Like it's I don't have the same burning desire I used to have, right? Like the the targets seem uh less shiny, right? Like before, when I had targets, they were shiny, and like I would obsess over them. Like I want to win the belt, the amateur belt. Then I want the pro belt. Then I want to get signed by a big organization. Then I want to fight in Vegas. Like I had these targets, and they were all shiny. My last target was fighting at Wells Fargo, and it's like I haven't had a moment where I'm like, I really want that. I don't know if it's maybe I haven't been incentivized enough yet. That could be it. Um, but I know the day's coming. I've thought about it. So, I look, I've mentioned retiring before. Like, oh, I'm gonna do one more before I retire. I'm gonna do one more MMA before I retire. But um the reality is that I really don't know. And they say you'll know when you know, right?
I agree because
Yeah,
and
that's
you
one
and
of
you
the
use the
yeah,
word retirement. That's what I was a financial advisor before I moved,
yeah,
and not that I got an insurance, but my point of view of retirement has changed so much. I used to help people put themselves in a position. I used to think this, put them in a position to where they can stop working when they want to stop. And I don't think that that's a good decision in life for anybody. I don't think
yeah,
anybody should plan on stop working. I think that what retirement should be, especially from a money standpoint, is you're just paying your future self for when you can't work anymore, when you can't work, because there comes
yeah.
a time. So that to me is what retirement is. They're saving for it. We shouldn't be planning on not continuing to do what we love to do. But I
Yeah,
also think the problem with that is most people are not doing what they love to do, and they can't wait
correct,
till it ends.
correct.
So the
Yes.
fighter is a whole different thing. A fighter loves what they do, and it's going to end. So
Yep.
that career is wild from just that point of view. Is it's going to happen earlier, and it's something that you don't want to stop. Where most people are living in a world where they can't wait until it stops, but we only got one life, dude. You know, like
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, to answer your question is I like to tell myself I'll know when, and the seed has been planted. So Dana White will say, if you're thinking about retirement, you should just retire, right? Like, because there are killers out there who aren't thinking about it. And what they're going to do is put you into an early retirement.
Yep.
Right. So like, that doesn't scare me, but, the idea of it being more net negative than net positive does. It doesn't scare me, but I don't want to be there. I don't want to be in a spot where it's like this is more negative than positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm not there right now. Like right now, it's still keeps me, it mentally sharp. It keep like it's doing more positive than negative right now. But there could potentially be a day when it's like, all right, this doesn't serve me anymore. Um,
I love it.
so I'm hoping I'm just aware enough to recognize it when that time comes. And I don't know, man. Maybe after this fight, I'm in the moment. I recognize that uh I'm on top, and maybe I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe I do it sooner than we all think. I don't know. Who knows?
I mean, what I know, dude, after just listening to like your press conference that you had at Bare Knuckle and your story, the trauma that you went through, and your purpose. One, what you're doing is you're leading with your feet, which is awesome. And I think I'll tell you what really opened my eyes, man, is like I was in AA for the first 2-3 years of my sobriety, but I left and I do practice the steps and I use the work constantly. My issue with the program was that I never seen a guy like you there. I never seen a guy that wasn't just sober, and it bothered me because I didn't get sober for that just to be my life.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're still doing it and practicing it is even more. I think that's even more of an inspiration because somebody else is going to see that dude, and that's going to help them tremendously if they're anything like me. Because I was the downside to the rooms that, for my opinion, that's how I see them.
It's definitely made me. It's given me the foundation to get to where I'm at. Right now, look, I don't go to a meeting every day. You know what I mean? But I know my place. Right, I have a home group, and you know what I mean. So it's like, it plays a role. I have a sponsor. We talk all the time, right? Like, so it's like it plays a role in a lot of my decision making process. So it's important because I know where I would be without it. So it's look, man, life is good, brother. Life is good.
Blessed. I can't lie, I feel blessed. Know exactly who I am right in the mirror. Ain't a person on this earth that's my superior. Drinking all this water, think my skin can't get no clearer. Can't nobody make me feel inferior. I'm locked in, my foundation solid. The sins of a nation ain't enough to block my knowledge. I'ma prosper regardless. Showing empathy, I'll never be heartless. And what's meant for me is mine. I'm aiming straight at my target. I got a clear vision, a definition of success and a real mission. Asking God to guide my steps, and I'm still tipping, still whipping down the boulevard.